I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association that's responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, you can call us. The number is 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Friday program for July 10th, 2020, DCTV Daily News. Frustrated by rise in COVID-19 cases, Colorado governor says wear a damn mask. Seems like he isn't happy that everyone isn't following his orders. The Journal reported with an AP photo that as the number of COVID-19 cases in Colorado grows, state leaders and health agencies are ramping up their efforts to educate the public about the importance of wearing a mask and avoiding large gatherings of people. This after free testing across the state has increased as well, yet the number of deaths from the coronavirus SARS-2 has not proportionally increased. Governor Jared Polis announced the launch of a new interactive COVID-19 model of the state of Colorado during a news conference on Thursday. The model was developed by the Colorado School of Public Health to help individuals, businesses, and local governments visualize their own role in stopping the spread of COVID-19 across the state. Again, a side note, Dolores County has 0 positive cases with 61 people tested of a population near 2,000, all negative. The health and emergency management offices have stressed that the state orders as to how much restrictions are in place for businesses and government organizations is directly related to the number of cases as a percentage based upon a population of 100,000. There's no specific guidance that takes into consideration our sparse population, just a numbers game wherein if 1 or 2 cases come up positive in the county, the quote from both departments is that it will mean a quote lockdown. Again, terms and definitions are not well portrayed yet, so we will continue to do our best as a county by washing hands and staying healthy, something we were taught to do in kindergarten, no doubt. Continuing, one more side note, these orders and strategies do not fully address the HIT, the herd immunity threshold point. That is, the general population in an area has already encountered the virus as a group, and it's strong and provides the herd immunity factor to help keep levels of critical illnesses at bay. So the article from the Journal continues that Coloradans can use the model to see how different factors, such as wearing a mask, can change the spread of COVID-19 in Colorado in the future, they say. The state health department announced 452 new cases of COVID-19 in Colorado. Almost 60% of the state has a mask ordinance in place, and the governor's office estimates that 70% of Colorado residents wear a mask when they need to, but for Polis, it, quote, ain't enough. If you want to lower the unemployment rate and bring professional sports back, wear a mask, Polis said. Masks are more effective than originally projected, despite the lack of a coordinated effort to enforce masks in the United States, Polis said. While he doesn't have the power to enforce masks at the state or national level, Polis said he can't make it any more clear how important it is to him. Quote, wear a damn mask, Polis yelled while leaning over a lectern. The Colorado COVID-19 model will help people understand the impact they can have at the individual level. With the new model, users can alter the parameters to see what would happen if 20-year-olds didn't wear masks, or what would happen if people 65 and above did not stay home or avoid gatherings. The tool also includes up-to-date data on the state's efforts to trace contact between people who have the virus. Quote, we have to live with the president and the administration we have, Polis said, calling out President Donald Trump's lack of leadership in unifying states to combat the virus. Instead, he provided states' rights. Colorado's economic recovery is only as good as its public health response, Polis said. The main transmission point for the virus was bars, which the state closed again 1 week ago. And I have to step in to ask where that data point is coming from and to what extent the protests on the streets of the same age that bargoers may be had an impact. This seems more like guesses and not based on actual data, but that's my side note. A frustrated Polis continues, quote, if it's not enough to save your family and friends' lives, it's also an economic issue, Polis said. He pointed to a new study from Goldman Sachs. that shows if everyone wore a mask nationwide, it would save 5% of the national GDP, which is about $1 trillion of economic activity. That's from Goldman Sachs. This is the summer of no parties, Polis said. He called on people in their 20s and 30s, as well as in their teens, to, quote, go to the park with your friends instead. With 4 friends instead. If you're 17, you shouldn't be drinking anyway, Polis said. Polis signed the Protect Our Neighbors executive order on Thursday, which directs the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to allow local governments to apply to enter into the next phase of reopening. Protect Our Neighbors, that's the catchy name for his plan. To qualify, the county must submit a containment and mitigation plan for what it would do if cases started to rise again. Polis also announced that the federal government extended the application period for the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, until August 8th, as there is a $129 billion of funds remaining that can be used as potentially forgivable loans for small businesses that need aid. Our country still hasn't gotten out of the first wave, Polis said. Waves or not, the most important point not addressed, in my humble opinion, is how to keep individuals healthy in the first place. And the stress and other elements being drawn upon, such as fear, only work in the opposite direction from a healthy community. Dolores County commissioners will discuss with the emergency manager next Tuesday whether they want to proceed with a containment and mitigation plan submitted to the state if cases start to rise again, or at all. The next free testing in Dove Creek will be by appointment only at the clinic on July 14th. And now, let's take a look at the local weather for the weekend and into next week. Today, sunny with a high near 92 degrees with southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly clear and a low around 57. For Saturday, we're looking another sunny day ahead with a high near 88. Light breezes for Saturday night, partly cloudy and a low around 56. For Sunday, mostly sunny and a high near 92. Again, light winds, but it could be gusty to 20 miles an hour. For Sunday night, right now, a 20% chance of showers sneaks in before midnight, partly cloudy with a low around 59. And into next week, things have changed up a bit. Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 94, then Monday night a slight chance for showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy and a low around 61. Into Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high near 93. Tuesday night, partly cloudy and a low around 62. For Wednesday, sunny and a hotter high near 93 again. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 61. So another nice hot and dry summer weekend ahead. And now, back to the news. Click it or ticket. That's true mostly throughout the year, but coming up this Sunday is the start of a statewide effort to highlight the importance of wearing a seatbelt and having your child's seat safely installed. The Journal reports the Cortez Police Department will participate in a statewide click it or ticket enforcement period that begins this Sunday alongside the Colorado Department of Transportation, Colorado State Patrol, and other law enforcement agencies. The high visibility seatbelt enforcement runs through July 19th and aims to reduce the number of deaths and injuries on Colorado's roadways. Locally, Montezuma County has an average seatbelt use of 84%, below the statewide and national averages. Wearing a seatbelt is a source of protection from serious injury or death in a crash. Fines for not wearing a seatbelt start at $65, and parents and caregivers found with an improperly restrained or unrestrained child can receive a minimum fine of $82. Colorado seatbelt laws for adults. Colorado has a secondary enforcement law for adult drivers and front seat passengers. Drivers can be ticketed for violating the seatbelt law if they are stopped for another traffic violation. For teens, Colorado's graduated driver's licensing law requires all drivers under 18 and their passengers, regardless of their age, to wear seatbelts. This is a primary enforcement, meaning teens can be pulled over simply for not wearing a seatbelt or having passengers without seatbelts. For children, Colorado's child passenger safety law is a primary enforcement, meaning the driver can be stopped and ticketed if an officer sees an unrestrained or improperly restrained child under the age of 16 in the vehicle. For more information, go online to codot.gov/safety/car seats or codot.gov/safety/seatbelts. The whole school or no school debate lingers on after a presidential press conference workshop was broadcast on Wednesday. The determination of how best to proceed and plan for schools remains cloudy and up in the air. The Durango Herald reported that our neighbors to the south in New Mexico, they won't see the beginning of football and soccer seasons this fall. That's as part of the health precautions. In Thursday afternoon's COVID-19 press conference from Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, it was announced contact sports such as football and boys and girls soccer would not be allowed under the updated public health order put into place beginning on Monday. The New Mexico Activities Association said it would look to hold football and soccer seasons in the spring, beginning in February of 2021. Quote, "No contact sports are going to be permitted this fall," Grisham said. "This has been a decision we've been doing a fair amount of handling on. Sports are incredibly important to the individuals who play them. We are clear about that. Quote, "These contact sports are just too high risk. If we do well, if we work hard, it is possible we could just be delaying them and they could be played later in the year and later into the season. Fingers crossed, and I believe in you that we can get this done," end quote. The news came on the same day that the Utah High School Activities Association unanimously approved a plan to begin fall sports as regularly scheduled. The Colorado High School Activities Association has submitted a plan to Governor Jared Polis with the hope of setting guidelines for sports to resume as scheduled in August. That plan and the decision to move forward is pending that approval. "I guess it is kind of comforting Utah is going ahead. It gives me some hope," said Durango School District 9R Athletic Director Ryan Knorr. Quote, "I think it is a little early for New Mexico to make that sort of call. It's not consistent. We are in a unique geographic location here in the Four Corners. Durango is not the same as Denver. Salt Lake is not the same as St. George, and Farmington is not the same as Albuquerque. It's just interesting to see how different places so close together have such different responses to the same issues." Also interesting that Utah is run by a Republican governor. Colorado and New Mexico are both Democratic governors. Quote, "But we are seeing moves being made with the Ivy League not playing college sports in the fall. So I think people are just making plans. You can't fault them for that. We are seeing that the government trumps everything, and any plans may be made to play in the fall. The governance of this is so interesting to see play out." The NMAA said a tentative plan for sports going forward will be announced on or around July 15th, so look for next week. Education-based athletes are an important part of the educational process, NMAA Executive Director Sally Marquez said in a news release. The NMAA will work tirelessly to ensure all students have the opportunity to participate in all sports and activities of their choosing during the 2021 school year. The suspension of fall sports to the spring semester will, of course, conflict with the end of winter sports as well as spring sports. Smaller schools that have more athletes playing multiple sports will be disproportionately affected, especially with those who play football or soccer and also participate in baseball, softball, or track and field. Grisham said that non-contact sports such as cross country, golf, and tennis would continue to be reviewed during July with hopes that those sports could be played as regularly scheduled. Quote, "This is painful, and we are working with the New Mexico Activities Association on creating standards and getting that info out to coaches and teams," Grisham said. "We are not giving up on it yet, but letting everyone know we are delaying those. Other non-contact sports are under review, likely delayed to start 2 seasons, but I am feeling confident as I can, given our current situation, that we are in that we can get them in." End quote. There was no mention of volleyball, the only indoor fall sport. The guidelines also online pertain to high school athletics and did not mention collegiate athletics, as each individual conference has been left to make decisions regarding the return of fall sports on their own. Quote, "I don't have the same authority over the college sports associations," Grisham said, noting that she would ask the University of New Mexico and New Mexico State University not to participate in contact sports this fall. The news came as New Mexico re-implemented tough restrictions on restaurants and businesses following a 2-week spike in COVID-19 cases in that state. According to Dr. David Scarce, New Mexico's Cabinet Secretary for Health and Human Services, there have been 1,736 new cases in the last 7 days and 3,068 cases in the last 2 weeks. Roughly 45% of those cases are in people ages 20 to 39, and 48.4% in the last week have been in the Hispanic population. Quote, "We don't have the resources most states do," Grisham said. "New Mexico has the lowest amount per capita in the country. We have to do it better than everyone else in the country. We were and we can do it again." Also announced on Thursday, New Mexico state parks will remain closed to non-residents, and camping will be banned in the state parks, which are open to day use only. What we saw on July 4th was a clear demonstration we have way too much going on with travelers who provide risk, Grisham said. Grisham said that the return of any school sports will require students to be able to return to classrooms. Right now, New Mexico is looking at an alternative model of schooling where students attend class in person 2 days a week and do online learning the other 3 days a week. "We will do everything in our power to save lives, and we are," Grisham said. "We don't have treatments or a vaccine. If we're going to open schools in August, we have July, basically, to get in place where we are stable, and some counties start to see a decline in the numbers of infections per day, per week, per 14 days. None of these sports, no fall sports, will happen is if schools don't open. It's all tied to if schools open. And here locally again, there will be an open school board meeting in August where more details will be provided as to how the county schools will proceed. As for local sports, the girls basketball team will be holding a car wash fundraiser this Saturday, July 11th at the Dove Creek Sinclair parking lot. So come on out and support them with car washing starting at 10 a.m. and we look forward to helping them out there. A North Dakota man has been ordered to pay $74,000 in restitution for poaching a trophy mule deer buck in northwestern New Mexico. The story from the Journal and AP. The State Department of Game and Fish reported on Wednesday that Cody Davis also was ordered to make a $3,000 donation to the Operation Game Thief program. Authorities say Davis killed a mule deer out of season and didn't have a license. The investigation started in 2015 with a tip. Conservation officers found a large headless buck near Lindrith and set up surveillance in the area after finding the severed head stashed nearby. Davis, who was originally from Lindrith, returned 4 months later to retrieve the head. Officers followed him 4 miles towards Bernalillo, where he dumped the trophy head off a bridge over the Rio Grande in an attempt to avoid getting caught. It took nearly 2 weeks of searching the river before conservation officers and biologists found the head. New Mexico authorities worked with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to serve a search warrant at Davis's home. Authorities said Davis, who has an extensive history of game law violations in New Mexico, admitted to killing the deer. New Mexico wildlife managers said that at the conclusion of the investigation, nearly 2,000 hours had been logged, more than 25,000 miles were driven, and numerous search warrants were conducted in the 2 states. It will be interesting to see how this economic impact from the Project COVID-19 crisis impacts the hunting season and its economic impact on our regional area coming up this fall. For these stories and more throughout the weekend, check out our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News, where you can also watch the program replays along with the news links and stories of local interest. You too can share with other news or events and join in on the conversation. Again, this is your local community TV station, so if you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.